Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team.
Sounds like Miros is having a little bit of voice issue. Just make sure your open mic threshold is set low enough that people could actually hear you, Miros. Like, you gotta set it, but you gotta basically flatline your open mic threshold.
Is it working now?
Yeah, it's working now. There's a little bit of noise, but it's not too bad, honestly. Maybe turn it up slightly, but it's nonetheless, yeah, earlier on it was hard to actually hear you, so. Alright, just once again, the intro. I'm Vikramon. We're taking a look at the... Yeah, it sounds pretty good. The Reddit Playdate Open Tournament Winners Bracket Finals. Losers Bracket Finals between R2R and Dystopia. The winner of this best-of-3 series will go on to face Lucid Lunatics in the grand final later this afternoon. And so we're already into the draft. Let's talk a little bit about it. We have very standard bans going out with the Magnus, Darkseer, Batrider, Nyx Assassin. For this tournament, these are essentially the first bans of choice. We've seen teams do extremely well with Magnus across the previous rounds. And so moving into the draft, we actually have R2R picking up Undying as their first pick. And then in response, Dystopia picked up Bounty Hunter, Rubik, and then Keeper of the Light and the Death Prophet from R2R again. Again, this is a hero that I think this team particularly favors because we saw them run it yesterday, and it was sort of a non-traditional pick there. They took it as a 5th pick, and ended up doing very, very well, actually. Their victory was partially due to just the fact that the Death Prophet did so well. They'll most likely run their random hero will be on this Death Prophet again, and possibly running up in the mid again.
So why would they waste the 3rd pick? I mean, presuming they want to pick it, why would they pick it 3rd?
So if Dystopia were watching their game last night, they might see that they sort of favor it relative to other heroes, so they might ban it in the second ban phase. Because the second ban phase is when you sort of have your team-specific like respect bans and such. And so if you want to dodge a respect ban or whatever, you have to take it 3rd. You can't take it any later than that.
This is kind of a peeve, and it might make me a grumpy old man, but I really hate the new banning mode because there are so many heroes. Like, there's at least 5 heroes that you always have to ban, like Magnus, Darkseer, Batrider, Nyx, and Undying, and you probably want to have Bounty Hunter there. So those are, if they don't get banned, they get first picked.
Yeah.
So they're all no-brainer bans, and there's no more like ways of outplaying the other team while picking a specific clever team. I don't know.
Sure. No, I actually agree. In this case, actually, Magnus is actually sort of not a lock for first ban anymore all the time. But I actually totally agree. There's always at least 6 or 8 heroes that are just incredibly strong and that you would first pick if you had the chance. I mean, Keeper of the Light, it gets first picked very, very frequently as well. And I do agree that I think the 3 bans in the first phase was better just to make the early drafting stage more tactical. What you have now is that the early draft stage is not interactive at all. Your first like pick that's interactive in any respect is usually something like 3rd pick. Because the first 2 picks are always just, let's take the 2 best heroes that haven't been picked yet.
Exactly. No, I completely agree. Okay, so we're both grumpy old men.
Speak for yourself. But... I don't think you got a chance to introduce yourself because the stream was either the stream was muted or your voice wasn't working, but it's working now. So why don't you say something about yourself?
Hello, I'm Maris. I'm co-casting with Vikramon. Occasionally, I do like some very nerdy math stuff with Vic, and you can follow me on Twitter at IDF spokesperson. Speaking of which, hold on, I really got to link an amazing article.
I'll check it out later. Probably not right now.
No, just look at the title.
Oh no. Didn't get any article from you.
It's on Steam.
Oh, I'll check it out later.
Basically, Israel was sterilizing Ethiopian women, without them knowing about it.
Wow. How was that happening?
Their doctors were giving Ethiopian women who didn't understand Depo-Provera shots.
Wow. That's bleak. I'm not going to read that.
It's Haaretz, so it's behind the paywall.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, that was that.
All right.
So back to this. They banned Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
And Lone Druid. I guess Lone Druid is a bit of a respect ban.
Well, Lone Druid's very strong, honestly. He's so popular right now. He's a very strong hero.
But
He's
he's
overall.
a hero.
Well, also keep in mind they have
But he's a hero that scales with skill. So I figure in a low skill tournament, like, I mean, he takes more micro than other heroes.
That's true, but by the time we're actually up to the stage in the tournament we are, these teams are actually pretty good. Like some of the earlier games were just stomps and sort of. Hang on a second.
Luna. Radiant.
Alright, sorry. You have to keep in mind they do actually have somewhat of a developing push composition with this Tinker, so they could do a lot of split pushing with the Tinker and the Lone Druid. So I think that might be part of why the Lone Druid ban is directed at them. And Gyrocopter also was the other hero that R2R were favoring yesterday in the game that we saw. So I think they still have the Death Prophet, but instead for their late game carry, they're going to pick up Luna. So that's also a strong choice, really popular hero.
Yes.
And you can see a lot of the top carries right now were all taken out. So Phantom Lancer, Life Stealer, and Gyrocopter.
Is there any particular lore reason why they gave Luna an Irish accent, like a terrible imitation of an Irish accent?
I think the woods that they live in might be supposed to represent the British Isles, because Mirana also has a British Isles accent, doesn't she?
Not really. She has sort of like.
I think Mirana has... No, she has somewhat of a sort of a British Isles type affected accent. People are complaining about your background static, by the way. Do you have, like, noise going on that you can... maybe noise reduction on your mic or something?
Not that I'm aware of. I can try to lower it.
It's usually better than it is right now. You could try to lower it, yeah. If not, for the next game, we can always try to put you on Skype or something. Yeah, that might work.
Is this better?
No. It's not better at all. But it's fine. Don't worry about it. Dystopia actually digging way into their time for this. So they pick up the Wisp. I wonder if this means that they're going to follow up with something like a Chaos Knight for their last pick. And then they'll run the Tinker mid, these Bounty Hunter off lane, and the Rubik Wisp Chaos Knight tri-lane. Also could do something like Tiny or Sven, but most likely Tiny or Chaos Knight, I would say.
Or CK Wisp middle.
Or CK Wisp middle, and then... But the only thing is that would, leave a dual Tinker Rubik bot lane? That might be a little... You can run Tinker... Tinker's basically either a mid or a tri-lane hero, I think. He's not that great if you have, like, a dual lane. Like, he's just going to get pressured a lot and not get up.
Right.
So, yeah. And R2R finished off by picking up a Jakiro, so that gives their additional... it looks like they might actually run the... They're looking for a solo versus solo lane with the Undying against the Bounty Hunter, and then the Death Prophet up in the middle. And that's actually... So that means that they might run an aggressive tri-lane. They think that because this sort of Wisp Rubik... Wisp doesn't actually bring that much to the table, they can sort of just overwhelm that tri-lane early. And I do take the Chaos Knight, so they are going to pair off with the Chaos Knight in the end. I think my in-game sound is very quiet or something. I'll turn up the game volume just a little bit.
You were lagging a little bit there.
That's too bad.
Okay. No, it should be fixed.
Alright, so we've got to pause up, and we're about to get into this game. So once again, this is the Losers Bracket Finals. So last night we saw R2R beat Fated in an extremely epic game. It was 73 minutes or so, and they really, I think, earned their berth into this Losers Bracket Final. That was the last solo, best-of-1 elimination thing. This will be a best-of-3 series. They actually forgot to turn the series option on. Alright, sorry, just talking to the teams for a little bit. Alright, so we're going to get started, and so I think those are probably going to be the lanes. We're probably going to see something like the Chaos Knights, Wisp, Rubik in a tri-lane, and then the Bounty Hunter solo and the Tinker in the middle. I think the interesting question here is, will they actually run the Chaos Knight, Wisp, Rubik in the top lane, assuming that the Undying is actually going to solo lane, thus sort of flipping the script on the aggressive tri-lane that R2R are likely to run? Or will they actually run... So it looks like they might instead run the Luna solo safe, and the aggressive tri-lane focused around the Undying, which I actually really like. That's a really good composition. Sometimes we see Undying run as like a farmer. Team Empire does it fairly frequently. I can't hear you, by the way, Miras. You're literally just broadcasting static at this point.
Oh.
You're
I'm not
just
saying anything.
you're just interrupting me with bursts of static. It's like some Zero Dark 30
Wow.
shit that you're pulling, Miras.
30 seconds to battle.
So yeah, so it looks like they're going to run the tri-lane focused around the Undying with the Jakira and Keeper of the Light, and that's actually an incredibly formidable tri-lane. If you're Dystopia, an Undying, Keeper of the Light, Jakira tri-lane could definitely wreck your tri-lane quite easily, because Wisp has such low base stats that stealing a couple stacks with Undying Decay, and that Wisp has like 250 HP after three instances of that. If you're trying to talk, it still doesn't work.
Any better?
All right. It's not any better. It sounds like you're sitting under a gentle waterfall, watching Dota on a waterproof like iPad or something.
That is exactly what is going on. I have no idea. On Skype, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I think for the next game we're gonna have to switch to Skype because this is relatively atrocious. The problem is then you won't be audible in game. I have to figure out a solution to that.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! They're gonna
Try switching it to push to
gonna
talk or
gangster
something,
Death
and just
Prophet.
push to talk whenever you want to talk. Yeah, so they got the smoke up, and they're going to start with killing this Death Prophet right in the middle. There's almost no way that she'll survive this. They've got a series of stuns that can. They get a lucky 2-second stun on that Chaos Knight, and that's enough for first blood. So Dystopia taking their time out, sending their tri-lane down, and getting that advantage on the Death Prophet. And that's smart. I mean, the Death Prophet was so dominant in the last game that we watched that that'll set her back right from the beginning against this Tinker, and they'll be able to get his bottle just that slight bit earlier and really pressure this Death Prophet in the middle with his spells.
So I wonder if Tinker's going to go. Can you hear me, by the way?
It actually is a lot better that way. Oh, well, yeah, if you
Okay.
just do it this way.
All right. No, I was gonna say. I wonder if Tinker's gonna go for the March build or the laser build.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. And I do have to say that Dystopia did do they guessed where the lanes are going to be, where they knew that R2R were likely to run an aggressive tri-lane either with the Luna or the Undying, and so they sent their tri-lane up against whoever the safe lane solo is going to be. And so that means that Luna is going to have a much harder time actually getting farmed, because Chaos Knight, Rubik, Wisp against a Luna, they can get those kills. Like, as soon as the Rubik gets a lift, or the Chaos Knight lands his stun, that's going to be very difficult. And you can see R2R actually reacting to that. They are going to move 2 up, and they're just going to go
really
solo
good call.
versus solo with the Undying. Absolutely. They really need more protection for this Luna, otherwise she's going to get completely denied in terms of farm. So smart play from both teams, honestly. The laning, sort of the laning game where you sort of try to figure out what the other team is thinking and counteract it. And in this case, Dystopia sort of got the advantage because, that is a tax. Like, they got the first blood, so that was gold lost by R2R there. And then additionally, they had to spend 2 town portals to take their 2 supports over to help the Luna. And in that time, the Chaos Knight already got a little bit of an early lead.
So if Luna, since she's Irish, is not getting any farm, should she make jokes about potatoes?
Wow. Oh, do you mean like the character itself should have voice acting that references potatoes?
Yeah, like the Great Potato Famine and so forth.
Sure, I understand the reference that you're driving for. Don't worry about that point.
No,
there is a
modest
surprising
proposal
amount
references.
of weirdly tasteless voice acting lines in this game, so I think it's not Well, the one that bothers me, now that we're talking about this, is they had this just series of patches in which every hero was both male and all of their rival lines were like hitting on the women characters of the game. And the first time I was like, okay, like it's a joke that the character is like a tacky, tasteless, like, so the first one was like Keeper of the Light. And he has lines for every single female hero in the game that are basically like just sexual harassment. And I was like, okay, that's like, I get what they're going for here. It's a joke. The Keeper of the Light is like a tacky, like perverted old man. But then they made 2 heroes after that who both did the same thing. Like Magnus, who's a freaking rhinoceros creature, doesn't even necessarily need to be sexed. Like, it's not entirely clear how Magnoceri reproduce, if at all. For all I know, they could bud. And yet, he also has tacky lines coming on to all the female characters in the game. So, that's my problem.
Well, come on, you can't waste opportunity to make horny jokes with Mag.
He doesn't even! I mean, it's implied.
Oh, wow.
It's implied, of course. But there's no... They actually did not go to the length of having lines that, like, make the implicit explicit there.
in traditional Chinese medicine, like the powdered rhinoceros horn is one of the more potent things to cure male virility, which is actually one of the leading causes of poaching in Africa and why they
Right.
get hunted so much.
I've heard that. I don't think it's just, it's not just Chinese medicine, I don't think. It's considered an aphrodisiac.
No, but
in,
it's
like, a bunch
retarded.
of
I mean, it
cultures.
has no effect.
No, I mean,
inside of
obviously
it.
it's
just
not.
the shape.
Yes. Right. Well, right. No, I didn't. Obviously, it doesn't actually.
Okay, just a minor point. The Luna is doing a really good job of last hitting under the tower. It's not very easy.
Yeah, he's actually up to. He actually picked up, I think, every last hit there because went from 3 to 7. So he got every last hit under the tower. Yeah, I think as we've sort of gone on in this tournament, we're really sort of starting to see teams sort of having a coordinated plan, A, and B, like, the execution level has just increased. We had a lot of good games early on, but even so, sort of, as we pare down the teams. Actually, a kill coming out on this Luna, 2-second stun. They use the Rubik lift. Pretty big ice path, stuns 2. The Chaos Knight uses Reality Rift, but this Luna might just lift it. It depends on the Wisp Spirits. Oh, they get her down with the Wisp Spirits. That's a big kill. That lifts up to 2-0, takes down the opposing carry. And so far, this aggressive tri-lane is working out pretty decently for them. They managed to pick up their first blood with it. They zoned out the supports, forced them to come over to this lane, and now they actually pick up a kill on Luna, even with the supports here. So this is an issue that R2R are going to have to really deal with, lest their Luna continue to fall behind.
Well, Luna was playing needlessly aggressive. She even went ahead and was harassing with auto attacks. That's really foolish.
Yeah, I think they sort of thought that they had a little more lane superiority here than they actually do. I mean, Keeper of the Light-based tri-lanes are very, very strong, but he hadn't actually landed that many Illuminates to that point. If he does start landing a lot of Illuminates, I think they're going to get a lot better of a position in this lane, because Wisp is really, really weak to just a couple of Illuminate hits are going to take out most of her health points. In the middle, meanwhile, even despite the first blood, Death Prophet is doing okay. She's only a little bit behind the Stinker, about 5 last hits or so. She gets this catapult, that'll be
That
really
is
useful.
really good.
Yeah. Oh, she missed the catapult, so that's a big last hit miss, but that happens. Meanwhile, taking a look at the bottom, Undying with about 15 last hits to the 8 of Bounty Hunter, so getting a little bit of an advantage in that, but Bounty Hunter almost level 5, and he's actually a little bit ahead of the Undying because the Undying started in a tri-lane. So that Bounty Hunter is going to hit level 6, and it's unlikely that Undying will actually be able to stop that. Because again, I think they thought that with 3 people there, they'd get the Sentry Wards, they'd be able to get this Bounty Hunter down, but now that there's only one-on-one, the Undying can't really do anything to stop this Bounty Hunter from leveling up. Which again is smart. They made the right decisions at any given time. Like, they definitely needed to move the tri-lane over as soon as possible, but as a consequence, they're not able to deny the Bounty Hunter the way that they originally anticipated doing.
You're completely right, by the way. This Death Prophet forced the Tinker to go back to base. Wow.
Yeah, even in the game that we watched yesterday,
This is amazing.
The Death Prophet play was really, really excellent. He actually dominated. He didn't dominate Queen of Pain in the middle, but he won the lane handily and got the tower off the Queen of Pain. I like Death Prophet, honestly. I think it's... Oh, wow, a killing spree for Wisp, so they managed to pick off the Luna again. I actually missed the kill, but they rotate on dying over. They're going to try to pick up some support kills in the back. Ice Path completely whiffs, and Rubik's Magic Stick might be enough to keep him alive. No, it's not. So they do pick up the Rubik, but... That's a rotation from the Undying. That's a time that he's not going to be leveling, not going to be denying Bounty Hunter in lane, and Bounty Hunter is extremely close to his level 6 at this point. Plus, the loss of the Luna, again, is critical. They actually, looks like they're rotating the Luna to the solo lane against Bounty Hunter and replacing her with the Undying in this lane.
That's what they wanted to do at the beginning, like
yeah,
versus
they wanted the
really.
They wanted the solo safe Luna against the Bounty Hunter, and the Undying Keeper of the Light Jakiro against the tri-lane. And Dystopia sort of, I don't want to say they outsmarted them, but they figured out that that's what they were doing and counteracted it by putting the Chaos Knight, by putting the tri-lane top against the solo Luna and the Bounty Hunter solo in the save.
Right. I'm not sure if this is such a good call, because a level 4 Luna against a level 6 Bounty Hunter?
Yeah, it's actually going to be somewhat tough for her. Maybe not as tough as against the tri-lane, but yeah, she's definitely under-leveled because she was part of a tri-lane. And if they were going to make this switch, I think they probably should have made it earlier and put the Luna down here earlier than they did. It's a tough situation. I mean, at a certain point in the initial laning, it almost becomes like a guessing game. If you don't have a hero like Clockwork, who has global scouting ability, like, okay, either they'll put their tri-lane top or they'll put it bottom. Like, at a certain point, it's hard to make the calculation of, like, you know, maybe they have a 60% chance of putting it in one lane, so we're going to put our people that lane, but, you know, that's still a substantial chance that they put it in the opposite lane from you. From what you're expecting, I mean.
Right.
But no, so finally at this point R2R has the exact lanes that they wanted, but it's already 6 minutes into the game, so like they've lost all that time to sort of get that laning supremacy that they wanted to start out with.
Well, and in theory, Dystopia should be the ones falling behind because, as you pointed
Right.
out, they've got Wisp, which is a terrible hero in the laning phase.
Right, right. And actually, they pushed the lane up there, but they weren't able to get much pushing done because Jakiro took 2 ranks in Dual Breath and 2 ranks in Ice Path. If he had that 1 rank in Liquid Fire, that would actually substantially increase their pushing potential. Now, he thought that they weren't going to be pushing at all back when the Luna was in the lane, so I think that's why he didn't take that rank of Liquid Fire. But just even 1 rank of Liquid Fire is such an additive to actually when you hit a tower, because if for nothing else, the attack speed slow is just very, very substantial in addition to the burn damage. Because I mean, it keeps your creeps alive that much longer, which means that your heroes take that many fewer tower hits. And you can see actually the bright side for them right now is this Death Prophet is now completely even with the Tinker just in terms of farm, in addition to having pushed him out once. So he just has Boodle, my god. He has bottled tier 1 boots and he's about halfway to his boots of travel. And Death Prophet has her bottle in her tier 2 boots. So definitely doing a very, very good job in the middle here.
I should point out 2 things. First of all, that Death Prophet is a level ahead.
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah, wow.
And second,
because of that lane dominance where she pushed him out.
yeah. And second, that Death Prophet went for the build that I didn't like, going for
Phase?
Going for phase boots over. I like going mana boots because it builds into the heart. So.
It doesn't build into the heart. You mean that it builds into the bloodstone?
Yeah.
Right.
Oops.
We actually didn't see him going for the Bloodstone in the last game that we watched him, so if you're not building into Bloodstone, then mana boots aren't that useful, just because Death Prophet doesn't actually really need the mana bonus from the boots. Oh wow, decent sentry ward placement, but just not quite close enough to actually be able to kill that bounty hunter. It does damage him quite a bit, and he is pushed out of lane, which gives Luna a bit of free farm. Let's note, Luna has caught up to the Chaos Knight, and Luna does scale much better in the late game than Chaos Knight does. The issue for R2R is going to be, as soon as that Chaos Knight Wisp engine is online, this Luna is in a lot of trouble in this solo lane. Let's take a look at Wisp's progress. How's he actually doing?
Wisp is now stacking Ancients for Tinker, another really smart move.
Yeah, that's definitely smart, but on the other hand, I wonder if it wouldn't be better to have Rubik stack the Ancients and have Wisp in the lane. Because that Wisp needs to hit level 6 for them to really make any use of that
and
hero
that Wisp
at all.
fucked up the stack anyway, so...
No, it's triple stacked. There's 2 stacks of golems
was
and...
triple stacked.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, he
it
was trying
remains
to
triple stacked.
quadruple stack it, and he
Right,
missed it.
right. So, for what it's worth, though, this triple stack will be... these days, it's actually incredibly hard to quadruple stack any creep
Yeah,
game.
it is.
It used to be that you could basically get up to 5 without any real issue, but now it's really, really difficult. But definitely this triple stack of Ancients will help the Tinker catch up to the Death Prophet trivially easily, because he can just stack March. He has this level 4 March already. He'll just be able to use that to clear out as much of that as he wants. You can see that he's picked up the level 1 Rearm, which you only do this early when you have the March build, because you want to make sure that March cooldown always comes up. It's interesting that he's not chosen to go Soul Ring with that, too. Actually, a big kill on Bounty Hunter. The Wisp actually TPs over just to make sure that the Bounty Hunter is able to kill the Luna, and that's very substantial for them, again. Any amount that they can hold this Luna back is a time that they really don't have to worry at all about the situation. That was a track kill as well, so some extra gold for the Bounty Hunter. Meanwhile, we have a push coming up top again. Jakiro's still level 4, so he still doesn't have that Liquid Fire for that additional push, unfortunately. But they will be able to deal a substantial amount of damage to the tower. And Chaos Knight's farm is really just... It's slowed down quite a bit. He's really not exceeding how fast the Luna is developing at this point. Wisp, meanwhile, with that kill, is now at about halfway through level 5. So again, the level 6 Wisp is going to be very, very critical for them. In the last game that we watched for R2R, they ended up having, like... They basically, the only way that they could respond to the Chaos Knight Wisp was to just clump up as 5 for the rest of the game. So, wow, big kill on Rubik there. Another big Crypt Swarm from that Death Prophet. And actually a ton of damage going out on both teams, actually, because the Tinker is able to get in there and throw out his rockets. It almost kills the Jakiro off, and now Wisp is chasing them with spirits. Excellent aim, by the way, on this Death Prophet Crypt Swarm. I think every single one hits somebody. Yeah. But they trade the Chaos Knight for the Jakiro, which is a, very, very reasonable trade. I think they got the Rubik as well from that. And additional time for the Luna. I think Bounty Hunter moved over. He's in the top now, so that's free time for the Luna to sort of farm up. They're teleporting the Rubik over to this lane now to oppose her. So again, Luna's sort of getting development, and they're trading in the other lanes. Undying is doing, pretty decently as well. But the issue now is the game is about to change, because Dystopia is about to get a lot more global presence. The Tinker has hit his Boots of Travel timing. It's 11 minutes, which is a great time for Boots of Travel. And the Wisp is about to hit level 6. She actually is level 6. So they have Relocate. She actually relocated the Bounty Hunter to this bottom lane, and they have Boots of Travel. And that's a ton of global maneuverability that Dystopia have that R2R don't. Now R2R have decent anti-push to the form of this Keeper of the Light, and eventually the Luna. But definitely, like, they're going to have to watch out for serious gank potential.
They might get this Rubik. Nope, they back out.
Rubik unfortunately walks a little too far. I don't think they could have done it. I think Luna would have. Luna was far enough ahead of the rest of the team that it was likely to just lead to another Luna death potentially. Very conservative sort of team boosting play from this Luna. You can see he's got the Tranquil Boots and Magic Wand, and now he's building towards the drums. I like this build for Luna, but what's interesting to me is actually he has no ranks of Cleave yet. Sometimes people will take their first 1 or 2 ranks of Cleave before the rank 3 of Lunar Blessing, just to get their farm sort of started. But in this case, Luna sort of started far enough behind that he wants to just buff the team's teamfight potential earlier. And again, pushing into a Tinker is just such a dispiriting experience. Once he puts up 1 or 2 things of March of the Machines on the tower, it just becomes almost impossible to actually push. What they are doing, which is smart, is split pushing with the Death Prophet. So they put 4 of their heroes threatening this bottom lane, and meanwhile Death Prophet just trivially easily takes the middle lane. Because again, that Death Prophet ultimate does so much damage to towers that it's just... like, a tower will melt if she's actually focusing on it. It's still a lot of pressure.
You'll find that steel doesn't melt at that temperature.
Well, we don't know how hot the... oh, wow. Big Keep Luna Eclipse kills the Chaos Knight right when he jumps in. But there's a lot of damage going on both teams here. I think R2R are going to have to retreat out of this. They do pick up the Chaos Knight and the Rubik, so that's almost enough for them. They don't need to finish off this push that effectively. The Undying is still in here. I think he's just trying to protect his team from getting out. The Bounty Hunter is on the chase. He's chasing this Luna. Luna will actually die, so that's a huge death. Luna should have run farther, I think. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, that
big
was
decay
really
going out on the Bounty Hunter,
Luna.
but keeps him alive. Yeah, definitely giving away that Luna immediately after you actually get the kill on the Chaos Knight is like, well, it almost wasn't worth it to kill the Chaos Knight then. I mean, it was worth it, obviously, but you get far less benefit out of it if you trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh. Death Prophet going mech first item. That's good, I guess, but it'll mean that she'll have lower carry potential.
It does mean that she has lower carry potential, but on the other hand, they'll get that mech so much quicker than if they were trying to build it on Jakiro or Keeper of the Light. I actually like this a lot. It's sort of like building mech on Viper first, which is that you have your sort of carry-ish mid hero. You know that they're going to get very solid farm early, and if you can get your mech 5 minutes before the other team gets theirs, that's a tremendous advantage in team fights. Like, it really can't be overestimated just how much like having the heal when your opponents don't have their heal is like an advantage. It's an armor boost too, honestly. Against Bounty Hunter and Chaos Knight, who deal very respectable physical damage, having the AoE armor boost is quite decent as well.
Well, they don't really have any, like... I mean, it's more burst than consistent physical damage, but...
That's true, that's true. But still, I mean, armor reduction is... Oh, they're up on Death Prophets. This is actually a very, very bad positioning for Death Prophet here. Will she actually get off her ultimate?
Oh, wow!
They might have to just retreat straight out of it. Good Keeper of the Light Illuminate. They're hitting a bunch of heroes, but they're so low. The Death Prophet actually gets taken down. They just use the blind from the Keeper of the Light, and they're going to try to retreat out of this, but 2 seconds down on the Undying, and they get 3 loss. They lose Jakiro, Death Prophet, Undying in exchange for just the Bounty Hunter. And Tinker's
also
in
interesting, Wisp is the one getting all those kills. This guy's the master of kill stealing.
We do have a 6-0 and 2 Wisp. That is definitely some serious Wisp stats. But that's good because I think Wisp is probably going to be their mechanism carrier, so that's going to move them. That's going to make the mech advantage that R2R are going to get by getting it earlier much less substantial, because the Wisp is going to pick it up pretty soon, honestly. He's, well, not that soon. He's about less than halfway, but still. But
Wisp is actually not that easy a hero to play, because
the
way you got to move those spirits and so forth.
Oh, yeah. Wisp, well, there are 2 separate geometrical calculations that you have to make when playing Wisp. The position of my hero, the position of the tethered hero, and the position of the hero I'm trying to stun is essentially trig A, right? And then, in addition, you have the spirits, which are, I mean, they're not as complicated, actually, but still, you have to sort of guess the rate at which you're moving, the rate at which your target is moving, and how often you have to press the spirits in and spirits out buttons. But yeah, Wisp is incredibly fiddly, but I don't know how they could have implemented what they were trying to implement without the way that they did it. It's just funny. There's a bunch of League of Legends
it's cool.
heroes
I
that
like
that.
high skill cap heroes.
Sure. Wisp is definitely a very high skill cap, because in addition to that, you have Relocate. Like, when do I use it? Who do I jump on? What sort of scouting information do we have about what's happening at the location that I'm jumping? And then, who do I jump out? Do I jump both heroes out? Just myself? Do I take a different hero? do I actually want to go pick somebody up and bring them back with the relocate, with the back half of the relocate? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. The only really non-clever ability is the overcharge, but nobody uses it anyway, so until level like 15.
Yeah. Well, you use it when you're trying to like kill Roshan. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good eventually. Like if you're Wisp Tiny. Wow, this Rubik walks into a death trap here.
Holy, yeah.
That was not the smartest of moves. But meanwhile, Tinker sort of starting that incredibly annoying Tinker play with the split push. They've got all their heroes down here, so yeah, I'll just take a tower at my leisure. They will trade towers here, so this is probably too much for them for Radiant to actually stop. So they do pick up a tower, another one on Death Prophet. That is actually the complete mechanism. Yep, yep. And that's quite a bit ahead of this Wisp, who's he's about halfway to it now, if he starts building it. Luna, meanwhile, still no ranks of cleave, so still that 4-4-1, which is fine. She's finished her drums, but again, this Luna is not going to be a factor until she gets more items. They're going to try to keep her as safe as possible, and as invisible as possible. That's the other thing. If Chaos Knight Wisp know the exact location of Luna, that's a dead Luna. So they have to make sure that this Luna is not only careful, but also as much as possible away from sort of the prying eyes of Dystopia. CK, meanwhile, he has drums. He actually is basically exactly where the Luna is. He's got drums, power treads, magic stick, and she has drums, tranquil boots, magic wand. So
yeah, Luna has welfare boots. So
well, tranquil boots are really good though. They're like so good.
Yeah, right. But
they are welfare boots, but they're like if welfare boots were like really really good.
Cadillac welfare boots.
Yes, it's the fake complaints about welfare drawn up by the American right, where they're like, oh, welfare people get way better products and services than anybody else does. Like those complaints about hipster food stamps. Yeah. Salon is a trash publication. Yeah, both Salon and Slate,
it really is.
They're like, oh, we're going to tweak liberal conventional wisdom by any means possible, even if it's completely correct.
Salon is even worse, because, I mean, at least they used to have Glenn Greenwald, but now they don't even have him.
Wait, he moved?
He is on The Guardian now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Huh. Glenn Greenwald has some pretty dumb opinions, but he has some pretty good opinions, too.
Yeah, don't sue us, please, Salon, by the way.
I think that's the sort of thing where the brand equity decrease that we give Salon by trashing them is far less than the brand equity decrease Salon gets by pursuing a Dota, a Defense of the Ancients video game, computer game stream for defamation. So they pick up Roshan, actually. Again, this Death Prophet Ultimate, when it's up, just deals just a tremendous amount of single-target damage if you're only focusing on one thing, and so that's enough for them to get a completely uncontested Roshan. Like, Dystopia were doing nothing while they were picking up that Roshan. Maybe a little push with the Tinker, but even this is good the fact that they bring this Keeper of the Light over here. But Tinker is getting pretty big. You can see he has 143 last hits. His net worth is substantially ahead of the light. Oh, what a trap. They waited for somebody to come respond to the Tinker and then bring the entire... Wow, what a huge force staff!
Look at that play!
Oh, the Reality Rift! Oh my god, they can't see him. Oh my god, they Reality Rift... Oh, will he live? No, he won't live.
He should have survived because of...
Just the force staff? You mean he should have, like, ethically speaking, he should have been allowed to live just because of how amazing that force staff was?
Yeah, because of that play.
Yeah. That force staff was incredible, and unfortunately the Reality Rift just pulls them all the way back. But for a second there, I thought that they might not have vision of him, but their friendly creep, actually, was the one unit that had vision of the Keeper of the Light. Reality Rift sometimes is wonky, like repositioning skills sometimes in this game. I don't know, it's probably even worse in Dota 1.
Reality Rift, it's also got the most frustrating cast time in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Half the time you use it, somebody ends up moving out of line of sight for like a split second, and it just cancels the whole thing. But the other thing is, like Spectre's Spectral Dagger thing, there's certain terrain that it does and doesn't cross, and it's just, like, impossible to tell when it, like, just stops working. Because it's not like Batrider Firefly. Batrider Firefly will cross literally anything, but Spectral Dagger on Spectre, like, only crosses certain kinds of qualities of terrain. Because I guess because it's not flight.
So Tinker's going to get top tower. He's being left alone.
Yeah. So I think they saw that the last time they did that, they got strongly punished for it. Although, Relocate actually is up, so they would be sort of privy to the same trap. And consequently, they give it away to the Tinker. He doesn't get the last hit, so that's a little bit of gold that he's not actually picking up. But still, this Tinker is getting pretty big. He's got 2,700 gold. I think he could build towards Sheepstick or Orchid pretty
good
soon.
fight middle
Eclipse
by,
coming out. They're chasing. Dystopia are running, which is actually exactly the right thing for them to do because they're in a lot of trouble here. The Eclipse actually doesn't do too much, and 4 seconds down on the Undying. And Rubik stole the Eclipse. Huge Eclipse coming out from Rubik there. But not enough. They actually lose 3 for none so far. Yeah, enough healing on R2R in the form of the Undying, and again, it's that early mech, dude. That early mech is just crushing the fact that Dystopia doesn't have their mech up. They weren't able to heal. If they had stayed in that fight, it would be one thing. But instead, the Death Prophet...
Did you see that he maxed out Soul Rip before Decay? Interesting. It's working great.
Huh, wow, you're right. He has 4-rank Soul Rip, but those extra heals are just so enormous for them right now.
Yeah, they're doing amazing.
Luna would have died if they didn't have both Soul Rip and Mechanism up there, but instead they're going to get a Tier 2 tower and a convincing teamfight win. So they just... Wow, R2R seizing a huge advantage there right in that fight. Undying, you see, actually going straight for the hood.
I'm a big believer in this. That worked out amazing.
Yeah, that was... Yeah. I think just having Mechanism when the other team doesn't, it's almost like... I won't say it's as good as having another hero on the field, but it's such a huge advantage if the other team has no way of getting... I mean, it's essentially, what? 1,250 extra armor on... extra health on your team, in addition to the extra armor. Oh, they don't quite get the Tinker. That's the other ability that has a pretty surprisingly long cast time, is the Lucent Beam on the Luna. She has to like put her arm down before it goes out. They were like a split second away from getting a free kill on that Tinker, which would be huge. Has he actually died? He has died once.
Honestly, that's a big thing of what keeps certain heroes balanced, like the fact that they have like shitty cast animations,
long cast points,
shitty attack animations.
Earthshaker, for instance, like.
But I honestly hate that a hero would be amazing, but he's just horrible to play because he's got shitty attack and so forth.
I don't know. I think it's actually kind of interesting because it does add game depth. I know your perennial bet noir was, for instance, the Queen mechanic in StarCraft, but I don't actually mind fighting the UI. I think that can be an interesting source of play sometimes. Although I do actually think, in retrospect, you were right. You were right about the Queen Infest thing, because it's made Zerg difficult or impossible to actually balance in the game, just because now that people are good at the game, like Zerg, it wins all the tournaments or whatever. People shouldn't... Please don't take me to task for my horrible understanding of StarCraft 2 balance, but I do know that Zerg wins a lot. And I think a big part of the fact that is it's difficult to balance it at levels other than the top level. Oh, I meant like viewers shouldn't take me to task, because viewers might actually know. Oh, really smart move there. Did you see that they killed the mob that Tinker was about to teleport in on? But they lose the Luna anyway. She has Aegis, so... But that means that Tinker
can't say really smart play if the
Eclipse is going out.
Play is like losing everyone.
No, they didn't lose anybody yet. They're completely turning Dystopia around again, and they get a kill. No, but it was actually really, really good because Tinker wasn't able to get in at all.
Just the tip.
Just the tip of the Jakiro Ice Path is enough to take him out there. And another 2 kills.
Correct.
Right, that was actually fully factually correct. No, but seriously, they cleared out the entire creep wave, and especially the creep that Tinker was teleporting into with his Boots of Travel.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he wasn't able to actually Boots of Travel in, except on the next creep wave. So that delayed his... Jakiro just gets completely popped. 4 seconds stun on the Undying. He's actually in a lot of trouble now. They will turn around to try to save him, but I'm not sure if they can. Yeah, with the pipe and with the mech, it still wasn't enough to save that Undying. And now they're going to take a lot. They stayed in way too long in this fight. Stun coming out on the Luna, now she's in trouble. This is going to be disastrous for R2R. They're going to lose the Keeper and the Luna. Oh, they stayed in way too long on that fight. They really pushed their luck.
Don't stay in fights too long. Just run.
Yeah.
You can... I'm sure there was someone right now from R2R yelling, "Guys, get back! Guys, get back! Guys, get back!"
Yep. They stayed in just a... They wanted to keep the... They wanted to save the Undying, and that's really what cost them not just the Undying, but 2 other heroes. Because there's a lot of damage that comes out from Dystopia. They're a huge burst damage team.
Trying to save the Undying gets everyone killed. This is worthy of like...
You should have just looked at his name, man. He's Undying. Don't worry about it. Just leave him alone. I think they thought that with the pipe and with the mech and with Soul Rip, they'd have just enough time to sort of keep him up and turn it around, but it was just completely wrong. It didn't work out at all. And that's a big turnaround, honestly. You can see this Chaos Knight has quite a bit of equity on him. He's well on the way to his BKB, so he's a little more than halfway to it. And he has his armlet full as well, so... Oh, and they're... Wow. Just turning around again. These teams just attack each other very quickly. Yule's going out. The Yule's from the Death Prophet holding the the Chaos Knight down. The Macropyre doesn't do too much from Jakiro, but again, the Ice Path clips the edge. Oh, Tinker is in the fight as well. Tinker's in the fight. March of the Machines is going out and hitting them very, very hard.
Hunter. Oh, bye-bye.
Tinker will be able to take out this Death Prophet. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. But Bounty Hunter has double damage, but he takes a bunch of hits. Do they have detection? They don't. They ran out of detection items, so they're not able to take down the Bounty Hunter. How's Bounty Hunter doing, actually? He has almost nothing. He's working towards his BKB. He's about 2/3 of the way there. But not much actually coming out from this Bounty Hunter after a strong early start. He's 4-3-1, so he's only been part of about 1/3 of the kills of his team, so not getting that full track benefit on all those kills. And actually, his kill on Jakiro, where he one-shot him, he killed him too quickly to put track up, because he Janata'd out of stealth, and then he couldn't put track because he one-shot Jakiro. So that's...
This is like first world bounty hunter problem.
It is first world bounty hunter plus. I couldn't get track gold because I one-shot my target.
Yeah. Should put that as a status on like Tumblr or whatever.
Right. Tumblr like meme thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a Tumblr. Do you have a Tumblr, Miraz?
Not that I know of. I'll have to check.
You Google morally reprehensible Tumblr accounts and just post the results on this. So, gotta say that this Tinker is going to become more and more annoying as the game progresses, but so far R2R have done a pretty good job of holding him down. He's working towards his Scythe of Vice, so that'll be very, very substantial for them. This Luna she actually has her BKB complete. She hasn't used any things of it yet, so she has 10-second BKB. And I think what we're going to see now is Luna will move towards her Manta style. Most likely.
How's she gonna be more annoying? Is she gonna just like keep spamming annoying links in chat and so forth?
He's gonna drop G's after every tower that he pushes.
Yes, that's a Han habit that hasn't leaked into Dota yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has. I'm sure if you play with the people from like King Raven and such, they drop G's in Dota. But there's flood protection in Dota, I think, in public chat.
Have you seen? I've not seen. People used to have, like, all the time, well, the people that I played with, macros to draw Goatsy on the minimap and so forth.
Right.
But I've not seen those in a while.
They still work.
Did they block them?
No. If you play with Sneep or Load Runner, those guys still do that all the time. They don't draw Goatsy, but they'll write out little messages or whatever. Actually, I think Sneep will draw Goatsy, but...
Oh, Sneep.
Alright, so we're taking a quick pause. This is a really interesting game, honestly. I wonder what it's like. Yeah, it's about 1,500 gold advantage for R2R, which at 30 minutes is almost completely irrelevant. And about the same in terms of experience as well. It washes out easily.
As Vic can attest, I am the biggest person in favor of conceding as soon as, or calling the game right away. But this game is really drawn up. I don't think any team has any kind of meaningful advantage.
No, this game is
maybe
extremely
a slight advantage to R2R because they've got a better late game team, but
in some respects. Now, the difficulty for R2R,
tiny,
I think, is that late game, it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with Tinker's split push. Because again, they don't have that level of mobility. They actually, their biggest tool for that will be Keeper of the Light can teleport, and then he can use his ultimate to teleport a second player over. So that'll be fairly substantial, actually. Or they can do stuff like yesterday we saw them use Keeper of the Light. They would teleport somebody to counter push, and then Keeper of the Light would teleport them back to the team fight. So that's their other tool. Move the Luna, have her cleave through a bunch of creeps, and then take her back. But they actually smoke up, so they're going to try to go around Dystopia and hit them if they try to go into the Rosh pit. But does Dystopia? No, they actually pinged, so I think they might have some inkling. And keep in mind, Dystopia has a sentry ward here, so they will see the approach of R2R through the river. Rubik and
they know they have a sentry ward because they just dewarded it. So
right.
Oh, Tinker.
Oh, Tinker's in a lot of trouble here. He gets caught out by the ice path, and that's a dead Tinker there. That will be his second death. Actually, a good force staff from him there. They actually popped the Death Prophet ultimate as well. Wow, they really want this Tinker. He buys back immediately.
Yeah, that was a bit... Oh, and he buys back.
They're going to try to Rosh, because the reason is, now that the Death Prophet ultimate is started, R2R have to Rosh, or they won't be able to get it without the Death Prophet ultimate, without spending an inordinate amount of time. So this Tinker is going to come in and they're going to teamfight. So I hope R2R are ready for the ensuing teamfight that's going to happen here, because there's... Dystopia will definitely not let them have this just easily, this easy Rosh. It looks like they were ready. They actually popped the mechanism very, very early just to top off before the impending fight. But this Roche isn't that close to dead yet, and they run out of Death Prophet ultimate. And did Rubik actually steal it? No, he steals Bat Blast. He steals Script Storm. And Chaos Knight is in there. He gets immediately stunned. He doesn't have his BKB yet. It's actually silenced, and they can't approach this Tombstone. This Tombstone is going to put a lot of stacks up. Bounty Hunter taking a lot of damage. Eclipse is going out, but it's doing basically nothing. They do take down 3, so just the Tombstone alone living and the damage from the Eclipse and the Death Prophet, enough to take down 3 heroes of Dystopia. And so R2R, you know,
this is one of those things where basically R2R have incredibly strong AoE, and they were fighting outside the pit, so they just ate Illuminate followed by like 2 DP blasts.
In any tight choke point area, just Keeper of the Light and Death Prophet can just deal so much concentrated damage. Wow, and the Bounty Hunter walks into an enormous trap with the Sentry Ward there. Very smart Sentry placement. They just put that down exclusively for the Bounty Hunter approach to try to steal the Aegis. And they put it on Luna, so she doesn't have Eclipse, but wow, she actually gets really low, so that Aegis was almost used immediately. It was very, very close to just losing that Aegis seconds after picking it up. So R2R, I think, you know, starting to take an advantage
going
here.
Necronomicon.
Oh yeah, wow, they really want that additional push potential, I guess. I mean, here's the thing, he doesn't need to build Mechanism. He really has his choice of things, and I guess, I don't know why he's not building... Necronomicon might be better for push than Scythe of Vice would be, but I think Scythe of Vice would be a very, very strong option.
Also, it's detection against Bounty.
That's true. That's a good point. I think they definitely want the rank 3 Necronomicon for the true sight on the creeps. That's a good idea.
And keep in mind, Mana Burn is immensely powerful against Chaos Knight.
That's a good point.
At the International, teams were countering Chaos Knight by using pre-nerf Invoker with Mana Burn.
With the MP, yeah. Yep. That's a really good point. Chaos Knight is a hero that his spells cost not that much mana, but his mana pool is incredibly low. And so it's difficult to actually keep his mana up. Now, they do have a Wisp with Arcane Boots, which does give Chaos Knight a double mana boost, but still, Mana Burn can be very effective against him. Honestly, not ineffective against Tinker either. If you can Mana Burn him down to below his rearm cost, that has a lot of trouble. Because level 3 rearm costs, it costs 350 mana, which is a very large chunk. Now, Necronomicon alone won't do that. You need something like Nyx Assassin, really. This is one of the many reasons why Nyx Assassin is a ridiculous hero.
Yeah. In the late game, Mana Burn is crazy. It's like the strongest nuke in the game without even counting the Mana Burn effect.
Right. I don't know if it's... I mean, it depends on the target, obviously. On something like a level 25 Tinker, yeah. He's going to have a couple, like 150 intelligence or so base. So that's a 750 point nuke plus Mana Burn.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, R2R, they secure the Aegis on Luna. They've got this Death Prophet ultimate, and she, again, second time we see her building Rod of Atos on this Death Prophet. I don't know about this instead of the Heart. I personally really like Heart on Death Prophet, but again, he uses the Vitality Booster and then converts it into a Rod of Atos. So that is a big slow effect. If you're trying to keep people getting hit by Tombstone, making sure that the Keeper of the Light Illuminate lands on them, that they don't get away from the Eclipse, I can actually see the 60% slow from the Rod of Atos being very useful. Keep in mind, they have no other real slows besides Tombstone. And
one thing that I like is that these are, as you said, they're not pros. But what you're worried about when the teams are not pros is that they copy pros mindlessly as like a cargo cult thing. They just do what pros do without understanding it. These guys don't seem to be afraid of trying new stuff.
Right, yeah. Like, for instance, this R2R, you know, we're seeing them again use this Death Prophet, and it's extremely effective for them. It's important to not just... Like, you can watch pro games and be like, okay, pros take Nyx Assassin, Undying, Anti-Mage, and we'll just do that, and we'll win. And you end up not winning because, A, maybe you don't understand why the pros do what they do, and B, more importantly, it doesn't fit your style. Like, if you have a player who's really good at a certain hero who's not in the pro metagame, like Death Prophet... If that's the hero that they're really good with, just pick Death Prophet. Nobody's gonna ban it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, wow.
Wow, look at how fast that tower went
down. That tower dies really quick. Now, for Dystopia, you have to say that they do have this Black King bar on the Chaos Knight. So that's going to make him a lot more survivable in these fights. He's not going to take damage from the Eclipse. He's not going to take Illuminate damage or Crypt Swarm damage from the Death Prophet. I try to get out of the habit of calling
But he's
going to
still take Spirit damage.
Right, he will still take Spirit damage because it's physical. That's one of the great things about that Death Prophet ultimate is that, you know, even against somebody like a Life Stealer, it's just going to do a lot of damage to him. Of course, the downside of Death Prophet against a Life Stealer is you have a high HP target that he can chew through very easily.
No, you can build like right now. Death Prophet's going for the move speed build.
Yeah.
Which means when he pops phase boots, he's basically at max move speed, and it's incredibly hard to hit him.
Yep. No, that's definitely true. Without something like without open wounds on him or something, it's going to be hard to actually chase him down. I mean, but they can get a 4-second stun with this Chaos Knight. They've had decent luck with these Chaos Knight stuns. Also, the other thing I like that R2R do, check out this warding. Like, they know literally everything that's happening in this jungle. And a little bit about what's happening in their own jungle. We actually saw them in their game against, who were they playing? They were playing somebody where, actually it might not have been R2R, it might have been Fated. I don't remember who it exactly was, but somebody was playing a team that had Night Stalker, and they had a ward here, 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 and here in the laning phase.
You're not pinging, or I can't see your pings.
You should be able to see on the mini-map, Miaris. I'm not pinging, I'm drawing.
Nope.
Really? You're in the same broadcaster channel as me, so you should see it. Oh, whatever. Viewers will see it, and that's what matters. So they had 2 wards in the Dire jungle, 1 ward near the Ancients, near the Radiant Ancients, and 2 wards in the Radiant jungle. And so the Night Stalker couldn't do anything at all because he didn't pick up gem. His supports didn't counter ward. And what you ended up seeing happening is he got no ganks because they knew 2.5 minutes ahead of when he wanted to actually go gank where he was going to be going. So another pause going out, but we were zooming in. At this point, I think if you're Dystopia, you really have to figure out how you can get this Chaos Knight to a point where he's actually threatening in a big teamfight engagement. Because this is the problem with Chaos Knight. You have this Chaos Knight Wisp. They can jump on anybody, but what if there's nobody to ever jump on? What if the other team just sort of clumps up? And the advantage there is they should be able to pick them off with the Tinker. Like, they should be able to split push very, very aggressively. But if the other team is just aggressive enough that they're always pushing in, you always have to use the Tinker for anti-push, it's a little bit harder to do that split pushing with him and actually threaten a different lane. So yeah,
pushing against the Tinker is so horrible.
Oh yeah, that's the big advantage I think that Dystopia has that Fated last night didn't. They were up against a very similar composition from R2R, but it's so much harder to push against a Tinker than it is against a Lone Druid. Like, that March of the Machines is just one of the least fun abilities in this entire game, in my opinion. Fun to use because it's a little swarm of robots.
About a bunch of robots running through?
No, it's fun. It's fun visually. It's not fun to play against. I love the graphic. The graphic is hilarious. Actually, the one thing I don't like about the graphic, it's really hard to tell where the bounding box of it is. Like, it's really hard to tell where you stop taking damage from it. So as soon as Tinker runs out of mana and has to go home, they immediately turn on the Death Prophet Ultimate and they push. Look at just how fast they kill these towers. This is crazy. And then just peel back, so they get another tower. They now have a substantial tower advantage. Tinker moving over to the top, so over to the bottom rather, being smart about it. But they're taking 2 people back, so the Death Prophet comes back. She's actually still got a little bit of
So
spirits.
Can towers die this fast, or was this an inside job? Questions.
You think that Tinker is actually the March of the Machines are doing deny damage to their towers, or that he
Maybe
contacted R2R secretly? Right. The real question is, why did Tinker Boots of Travel out the morning that the Tier 2 top tower collapsed?
Yes. Now
where was Tinker?
For a new Radiant Century?
Wow, that's really good, actually. Project for a new Radiant Century is excellent. Supporting foreign interventionism to the Dire again. Talk about your forever war, right? How much do you think the government of the Radiant has spent pursuing this fruitless conflict against the Dire?
Oppressive taxation regime. And
Oppressive taxation regime. What, you think when you kill a creep, that 40 gold is all you get? No, it's like 100 gold. Your faction just takes a 60 gold cut off the top. Dota 2 is a metaphor for people's war, with the creeps being the proletariat. Well, let me ask you this. Why is it that when I kill a hero, any so-called support that happens to be in a 800 unit radius gets some of the gold? Excuse me, I made that kill, I should get that gold.
Actually, that's a good point, because that only got added after the support started crying about it. It was one of those things that they used to buy off.
The support lobbying group managed to bend the ear of Ice Frog. Talk about your crony capitalism. Alright, so it looks like they're probably going to wait for Roshan again. They've got about 2 minutes left, and it looks like R2R are probably going to wait for the Roshan, pick it up, put it on Luna again, and immediately push off that. Notably, Luna, has she actually used her Black King bar? She used it that one fight at the Roshan pit, so still 9 seconds on that BKB. And then Manta Style is finished on her as well.
Back to what you were saying, when Axe or when Tinker goes and just stacks Ancients, and just, does his own thing, stacking Ancients, is that going Gulch?
I kind of went Galt in that game that we played yesterday where I was Lone Druid. And I saw that the Doom was just being a terrible build, so I just jungle farmed for like 35 minutes. I decided to go Galt in that situation.
Yeah,
it didn't help. Well, he got his dig on 5. That is what he expressly said he was going to do. We are going to see a smoke from R2R. So they're going to go out and they're going to try to catch... Actually, they have perfect vision of Dystopia. Dystopia may not know that R2R has these 2 additional wards on them. And they're going to catch them out. Will they actually... They might get a lot of kills there. Tinker's nowhere near here, and he doesn't have anything to boost their travel on.
Oh,
this
wow.
is huge. The Chaos Knight's in there, but he loses his 2 supports immediately. The Death Prophet is taking a lot of damage, but she Yules herself to stay up. And keep in mind, the Death Prophet spirits still go out when you're up inside the Yules. And so a triple kill for Luna. Getting all those kills on Luna is so significant. And now the Tinker can hardly do anything either. Rubik's going to get caught out as well. Keeper of the Light probably going to blind him back into his team. He actually... The Rod of Atos. Did you see that Rod of Atos slow? Holy shit. He's so slow. They might not catch him. Oh, they do with the... Again! Oh, I thought Luna got that 4th kill, but Keeper of the Light actually picked it up. Is he up to level 3?
So I disagree with Chaos Knight. Oh, they both bought back.
2 buybacks. I think they thought that R2R were going to follow up with a tier 3 push, but R2R are playing very defensively in that respect. If they don't have the Eclipse, if they don't have the Death Prophet ultimate, they don't go. So now they're going to just try to pick up Roche off the top of this. Roche is respawning. They went in 2 seconds early. I wonder if hopefully they'll check again. Oh my god, they thought that they got the timing wrong. Wow, KFCK actually picks up Keeper of the Light. They're right up in this base. They're trying to pick off... Wow, this is actually a really good play from Dystopia. They realized that they could pick off R2R as they were coming back. So they get 2 kills? Oh, the Luna stays alive. The Jakiro and Undying ate the rockets that would have killed Luna. So wow, Smart actually, that was a really, really successful relocate from the Wisp and Chaos Knight. How long have they been waiting for like a relocate opportunity, right? It's been 25 minutes since we've actually like seen a relocate. But they do manage to pick up a kill.
They just keep going all around this 5.
Yep. I mean, that's really the Wisp counter, right? Like if you're even have any intimation of getting behind to a Wisp, you can just team up and then, she can't jump on you. It's the same thing with Bounty Hunter. You have the exact same idea against Bounty Hunter, that you just group up, and then the Bounty Hunter doesn't matter as much, because he's not able to get those solo tracks to buff up his team.
Does that mean I split the bounty 3 ways?
Sorry about the typing noises. I try to type as little as possible, because I know my typing comes out really loudly on my mic. So again, the Chaos Knight, he's trying to build up to more items.
Of what you type.
Oh, it's more the content, yes. It's more of my posting. Right.
Yes, exactly.
You can see that Dystopia has planted just the Sentry Ward over here. This is to catch any smoke into Roshan. But the fact that the Sentry is here, rather than a little bit further south, means that they don't catch the fact that Dire actually have this ward and this ward here, where 1 Sentry around here would actually catch probably both of those Dire wards. Why can't I draw? I can't draw on the map. That's weird. Usually you can draw on the actual board as a caster, but that's fine. Maybe only broadcast channel 1. Oh. So wow, on the run again, Dystopia just sort of being pushed off. Once again, they counter ward as well. They have a gem somewhere, probably in Undying. Yeah, Undying has picked up a gem, and you can see he's building Necro as well. So their solution, oh, this is so smart. The reason they're stacking Necros is to push through the Tinker March anti-push. They'll just sit the Necro creeps inside the Tinker March and let him die to buyback to what's it called? Flashback damage? What's the damage called on them? So, Chaos Knight pops the relocate, but in return they just kill off this, and the Wisp is going to get killed on the way back. So 2 more kills. Again, these supports being taken down. But now the Chaos Knight and Tinker are aggressively pushing this. So I'm not sure they can take Roche, actually. They might not be able to. They have to go back. The Chaos Knight, however, he might well die from this. He's actually silenced. The BKB goes out. He might escape from this. He's so low. He's armlet toggling. He's doing his best. He will not. They won't be able to stun him, and Chaos Knight gets out safe. So actually, they take down the tier 3 tower. Incredible play from Dystopia there. They trade 2 supports, but they trade it for a tier 3 tower, and that is so substantial. That Tinker will have so many less issues doing the split push.
What that Chaos Knight did is he toggled his armlet
while under BKB,
and then instantly started casting TP. Yeah.
Yep. That was incredibly smart play from the Chaos Knight player. What's his name? Lazy's. So I think he might be their captain, but he played incredibly well there. The turning the BKB on, then toggling armlet, and then immediately, while you have the maximum amount of health on that armlet, you just immediately casting TP. So R2R are going to take the rush that they wanted, but that was a substantial setback for them. You know, they're still way ahead, but this Tinker is going to become a holy terror in terms of the split pushing ability, especially with that relocate. This relocate pushing that they're doing, usually you see relocate used as a ganking tool, but it's not really a successful ganking tool in this game. But instead, they're using it as a pushing tool.
Will.
Last will, yeah. So the last will damage from the Necronomicon creeps is R2R's solution to the Tinker anti-push. They want him to just take a ton of backlash damage from it, and then be able to kill him off that way, and then continue their push. But Tinker now is going to become a very, very threatening pusher. And keep in mind, this Tinker has an enormous amount of money as well. He can finish his Shivas right now. So he has Sheepstick on the Seth device. He has Shivas. He is close to Shivas, and he has his Force Staff. So Shiva's going to be very effective. Well, you know, they have a lot less AoE damage than R2R does, but Shivas will start to make up for that a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. The other thing they need, of course, is more magic immunity. So Bounty Hunter has completed his Black King bar. That's going to be extremely key for him to survive, because he's just been getting completely taken apart by those Illuminates and Eclipse combos. So our Dystopia just, you know, getting that bit tankier again. But again, we sort of see them in a similar position to what we saw Faded last night, where they have to just constantly play defense. Even in terms of the items they build, they all have to make defensive items. So that's, you know, a tough position to be in. When you're playing purely defensive, you're not really able to actually kill the enemy any better than you already are. And, you know, eventually they'll just get more and more on this Luna and eventually overwhelm you. You can see Luna actually making Boots of Travel. And this is a smart move because it'll save an item slot and it'll be good for counter push against this Tinker. Because if Luna ports in, well, actually, I don't know. Luna's going to have a fairly tough time. She has to port in a BKB to kill Tinker, probably. Because otherwise he can lock her down with Sheepstick.
Dire's bottom tower is under
They do bring one back.
He's already got a Sheepstick and now he's going for Shivas, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I just said. You really do have me on mute, don't you?
Dire's bottom tower.
So, what?
I literally just got done talking for like a minute and a half about Tinker's item build, and you're just like, oh, and he has Sheepstick. You're a jerk. But the one nice thing is that because, oh no, this Luna's in a lot of trouble. This will probably be the Aegis. Oh, that big Soul Rip, actually. He's going to save the Aegis. He's going to save Eclipse. This is so smart, saving the Eclipse until he comes back up. The Undying's in a lot of trouble too, though. The Undying actually gets picked up, and the Jakiro. So this Luna's coming up, but there's not a lot for her to actually use this Eclipse on. This is not doing basically anything. It's just going off on creeps. Dystopia actually easily picking up that win in that team fight. They don't get the tier 3 tower. They kill off 3. They lose no heroes, and they might just be taking enough that they can sort of live against this fight now. The cheese is still on the death
Chaos
prophet.
Knight with all the illusions does a lot of damage.
That was huge play from that. Chaos Knight was able to pick up a triple kill there, and they continue this counter push. This counter push is actually going to be incredibly effective. They're once again here. Luna jumps in, but she's in a lot of trouble. They didn't pass the cheese. I thought they might pass the cheese onto the Luna. This Luna will actually probably get taken down here. He gets sheeped by the Tinker. Oh, the relocate pulls them back.
He forgot to break the tether.
He forgot to just port the Wisp back and not the Tinker is actually in a lot of trouble now. He's no mana. He does have just enough to use his Spirit. Oh, they get the kill. They're going to get the kill on this Tinker. This is huge. This is a very substantial kill for them. He's going to have to use money to buy back. That'll take him substantially. He still has enough money for Shivas. He finishes his Shivas immediately after he buys back. But still, Dystopia playing so well to counteract this 5 push from R2R. They do as much counter push as possible. But they have such good instantaneous counter pushing on Dystopia with the Tinker and the relocate push combo with the Chaos Knight that this is going to be difficult for R2R to deal with. If they can't get these Rax pushes up, they're going to have a lot of trouble. They do give the Luda... So this is one thing that I've seen R2R do every single time they have a cheese Roshan, is they give both items in sequence to the carry. So they won't actually use the cheese for anybody else. For instance, the Undying could have used the... But they don't do that. They always give the cheese to the carry after they've used the Aegis, to give them a sort of pseudo-Aegis.
Wow, so like literally the rich get richer.
Yeah, it's trickle-up farm, basically. So really interesting
Turns
game,
out that
honestly.
this is a team sponsored by Kansas or whatever that wants to get rid of the income tax.
Our sponsor is the mayor of Kansas City. Sorry, not Kansas City. Yes, Kansas City. The one in Kansas, though. Not
It's
the
the
one in Missouri.
governor, wouldn't it be?
I guess the governor. Yeah, I don't actually know who is behind this push. 424 last hits on the Tinker, so definitely, milking that Tinker for all it's worth. But he only has one level advantage, actually. The Death Prophet and the Luna are very, very big.
Oh, 424. We forgot to highlight when he hit the 420.
Luna's gold per minute is
Apologies
420
to
right
that, dear
now.
watchers.
Miaris. Luna has 420 gold per minute, so you have the perfect opportunity to be as European as you want to be. Oh! Rubik stole the Death Prophet ultimate. She tried to cast the Crypt Swarm and she didn't get it. They probably have to go out of here. 4 seconds stun on the Undying. This is going to be extremely substantial. He hasn't used his Necronomicon. They immediately lose the Undying. And the lane is extremely pushed in on the bottom lane again. This is... I hate this pause. This is just the worst pause.
Yeah, this is really a terrible pause.
I was okay with every pause up to this one. I'm not happy about this pause. But the huge kill on the Undying there, and that Rubik steal is going to be so substantial. He is going to leave that for the entire duration. He is not going to steal anything else because that means that they cannot push against them right now because Rubik will just counteract the Death Prophet ultimate with his own Death Prophet ultimate. And they're going to lose at least 2 heroes on this. So they lose the Undying, they lose the Jakiro. Not a huge deal on the Jakiro. You see he's actually built Blade Mail. This is further anti-sort of Tinker, anti-Chaos Knight tech. Sure, you have burst damage, but I'll burst it right back to you. But the Undying was trying to build towards the Necronomicon 3, and that sets him back substantially from that. And he has no buyback either. So R2R being deflected by Dystopia's anti-push here very effectively.
It's twice that the illusions of the Chaos Knight just fucked them up completely.
Oh yeah, he's doing really good damage. And this is actually smart. He did not go towards that heart. We saw yesterday they sort of faded playing pure defensive and making their Chaos Knight go towards a heart. But if that's your damage... you have to build damage. You don't have a choice. And so he's taken the Helm of the Dominator for some lifesteal, and he's building towards what I would guess would be either probably an Assault Cuirass. I've never, ever seen a Void go Mjolnir. But he could, I guess.
Also, Mjolnir plus lifesteal is like anti-synergy.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not that bad because the Mjolnir only overwrites the unique attack modifier when it procs, but certainly it's not ideal in terms of you'd rather just... I think he's going to build the Cuirass, and that'll help the Bounty Hunter a bit, too. Because this Bounty Hunter is still... at this point, he's doing, no damage. He still only has the BKB and the Phase Boots. He's doing okay damage to, Jakiro, but nobody else is really fearing this Bounty Hunter anymore. Luna has finished off her Satanic, so that'll give her a little more lifesteal, a little more staying power on these fights. And I wonder if, at this point, R2R don't feel comfortable enough to push unless they get another Aegis up.
I don't like that lifesteal at all. I think she should have gone Butterfly.
Well, she already had the Helm of the Dom. Butterfly would be good. It's definitely going to be strong against the Chaos Knight. But with that BKB up, that's a lot of lifesteal that she can do that in that case. Wow, somebody points out that Death Prophet has gone for 2 sets of boots. So she is actually going for maximum movement speed Death Prophet. Check this out. She still has the phase boots. She's
Holy
toggling
shit,
them. Yeah. And she has the boots of travel. So when she toggles phase boots, she actually hits the movement speed cap. And she's only 30 movement speed off the cap when she doesn't toggle them.
Yeah, I think it's worth selling those boots and getting another item.
I think eventually she'll sell the phase and pick up a heart, but for now she's keeping buyback gold, so she's going to keep the phase for as long as possible, because the benefit from them is not 0. Because so you don't get the passive phase boots, but you do get the active phase boots, and you get the damage. So it's basically an item that gives you decent damage and an active movement speed buff, which is not at all bad. It's better than having an empty item slot. They are waiting for the Roshan, so they're going to look to get 2 cheeses and an Aegis. What I want to know is, are they going to put the Aegis on Luna and then hold the cheese for her and just give her 4 lives? Because I think that would actually be a serious mistake. I think it's much smarter to put one of the cheeses on the Undying. Because the longer that Undying lives, the better off you're going to be in these fights.
Well, Luna is the big cheese, so...
Luna is the big cheese, that's certainly true. I really do. Honestly, though, I really do think that they need to get a cheese up on this Undying.
I agree.
Or even the Aegis, honestly. Keeper of the Light, meanwhile, will be interesting to see what he goes for next. He's got 1,800 gold on top of this Necro 3, so he's going to be building towards more stuff. Jakiro, meanwhile, the poor lonely number 5, has Blade Mail, and that's about the sum of it. If you have to have one item, better Blade Mail than Bracer, but still. Tinker at this point, yeah, he actually picks up Blink Dagger, so he's going the full professional Tinker
buying Blade
strategy.
Mail as Jakiro is sort of passively accepting your role as like, okay, I'm just going to get shit on, so...
Right. But I think that's realism, not pessimism in this case, because he is going to get repeatedly shit on. What item could he make that would really, just impact the fights in any better way than Blade Mail will? Maybe Veil, honestly, because Veil gives you... He's not going to make a Sheepstick. Jakiro will not make a Sheepstick this game, unless it goes for another...
Yes, I know he won't make it, but you asked what item would have more of an impact.
Okay, I meant for a similar price. I think
Yeah,
actually he could have
specified
gone
this.
Veil, because yes, he'll die, but Veil is so good with Luna, because the Eclipse damage is going to do that get that buff, along with, it's pretty good with Undying too, honestly, and along with Jakira's own abilities. So pop the Veil, put down your stun, put down your Macropyre, and just die. I mean, it's still accepting your fate, but it might actually do more than the Blade Mail will. Because he only has 1252 HP, so that means that the Blade Mail at most is going to return 1252 damage, which actually might be worth less damage than the Veil is worth. It's actually an interesting calculation. How much magic damage does your team have to do to the targets hit by Veil for Veil to be worth more than the entirety of your HP in Blade Mail damage? I'll leave that one for you, because you do more math in a given day than I do.
Well, Veil is a 30% increase in magic damage,
Right.
so they have to do. If it's
Well,
a
yeah,
30%
only that
increase,
over that over 1.3. So yeah, about what 1650 damage that they have to do. That's easily doable, I think, because Veil lasts for ages. I'm always surprised when somebody gets Veil, just how long the Veil debuff lasts. They're smoking into Roshan. This time, Dystopia actually doesn't have the Sentry Ward here. They have an Observer Ward, so as long as nobody de-smokes until they're inside the Rosh pit, they will probably pick up this Roshan. Yeah, Dystopia aren't anywhere near. They think that they're pushing, or they think that they're smoke ganking, but in reality, they're smoke Roshing. So R2R is still playing
how long it
extremely...
is until
what?
Marlboro starts sponsoring Dota 2 tournaments, so they can have like an alternative smoke icon, which is like a cigarette pack by Marlboro. Or something.
They would, I think before they would have to change the name, because the brand equity of sponsoring an item called Smoke of Deceit as a cigarette company is... If you're Philip Morris, you definitely don't want to say
fitting.
Smoke of Deceit sponsored by Philip Morris. Surgeon General's warning, Smoke of Deceit is both deceitful and harms your health.
That is about correct.
Right, it is, but I don't think cigarette companies are not known for their ironclad commitment to truth in advertising.
Oh wow.
So, frankly, we have a lot of money being carried around on some of these heroes on Dire. And keep in mind, the Chaos Knight is just continuing to build towards... He has his AC, I think. Even with buyback, he can probably finish off that Assault Cuirass. So he'll be building up items, but we have a lot of heroes carrying a ton of gold. Death Prophet actually bought some big-ticket item. What did she actually get? She got Shivas as well, so Shivas on Shivas over there. That'll be actually Shiva's excellent against Chaos Knight, because all the illusions are going to be affected by the debuff
Tinker
as well.
has 5k gold. He just bought
BKB.
BKB.
Incredibly smart, honestly. BKB is exactly what he wants to do. Even though you don't get multiple uses of it as Tinker, he'll be able to TP out easier. Like, it'll be much harder for them to actually catch him, and it'll be much, much harder for them to actually kill him in the heat of a battle. I think that BKB is the exact correct item for him to make at this point.
I would have thought something.
Oh no, Undying is in trouble again.
I don't know.
They're gonna lose this Undying and Gem on him. That's a big misplay. Undying being stuck there with the Luna running away is just, they're gonna lose him, and they're gonna lose him for 60 seconds. He still doesn't have anywhere near buyback. And a relocate on top of it. They don't go quite far enough for the Luna. It's actually forced to pop BKB, but they didn't go quite far enough to catch her. Who is the other cheese on? I thought they put it on Undying, honestly. But did they put it on Death Prophet? It's on Death Prophet. I really think Undying needs it, because he's just dying so quickly. His name is just completely a lie. Not in that. In that fight, if he had used it, that would have compounded his mistake. But he's dying even in these larger group engagements, and I think it's really critical for them to keep this Undying up, in my opinion. I don't know.
I figured Tinker would have gone for Lincoln.
Huh. No, I think BKB is probably better than Lincoln. It doesn't give you stats, but he still only has, how much HP does he have? Like 1993, like an Eclipse and a little bit of damage from Keeper of the Light, and you could die as that Tinker, and they really don't want that. So no, I think his build is pretty much exactly correct. Now we have to note that Tinker is essentially maxed. He could ditch the Soul Ring, but Soul Ring is incredibly useful on Tinker. Like, he could ditch it for like Orchid or some other mana regen item, but he would need another mana regen item or Bloodstone. But he's very close to maxed. Meanwhile, Luna, she's maxed on slots, but as soon as this Aegis or this cheese is expended, she can pick up another item. It'll almost certainly be the Butterfly. I think almost no question that she's gonna make Butterfly next. But in terms of the net worth on these heroes, it's really, really close. We've got Rubik and Jakiro in the sort of shit number 5 pile where you have basically nothing. Rubik just has Force Staff, and Jakiro just has Blade Mail. I mean, credit to them. That's what happens when you're number 5 on a team like this. And then we've got the one thing is that the bounty hunter is very low. Like, he really doesn't have a lot to make himself that effective. He's building towards Vladimir's, which is going to be great for that Chaos Knight. Gives him a little bit of armor against that Death Prophet ultimate. So it's the right item for him to build, but again, bounty hunter is just not going to be that effective for a while still. Meanwhile, Tinker just, continuing to farm up, continuing to split push, and this game is in essentially, I would say, almost perfect equipoise right now. Oh my god, look at the gold graph. These teams are perfectly matched right now. Just like 1 for 1 in the current position. And I think it could easily tilt either way. If R2R get a successful push where this Luna lives and they kill off a lot of heroes, she actually built her full butterfly, by the way. The full butterfly goes out on Luna. And they only have 2 minutes left on this Aegis, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
How close Luna and Tinker are in net worth.
Right, yeah. They are very, very, very close to each other. And so are the Death Prophet and the Chaos Knight. Like, the difference between the number 1s and the number 2s is like less than 1k in both instances. And then the number 3 and 4 on R2R are just that tiny bit ahead of where the number 3 and 4 are for Dystopia. Like, the Keeper of the Light is quite a bit ahead of the Bounty Hunter. But of course, extra money on Keeper of Light after a point, like, he's never going to become a right-clicking fiend. The best you're going to do is add another sheepstick.
Is this a challenge that you're making, Vic? Because, like, the next time we play...
I have run Sanjin Yasha Keeper. It's not great. It's not great. It's exactly as good as you think it would be. So the nice thing about actually R2R is configured to fight a counter push. Once this Luna becomes big enough that she doesn't fear Chaos Knight, Wisp, and Tinker, they can always use her to counter push and then immediately port her back with the Keeper of the Light ultimate. So that's an advantage for them. I think they'll probably make a Scythe of Vice with this Keeper, but Scythe of Vice actually is not tremendously effective against Chaos Knight, just because in the chaos, haha, of a big battle, it's hard to identify which one to actually sheep effectively. And it's just not that great if you sheep an illusion. You do get rid of it, but They pop the Death Prophet ultimate, so they're feeling good about this. They are going to teleport the Luna in, but the relocate might come before that, actually, before she comes in. Chaos Knight pops his BKB. Where is Luna? She comes in, she has her BKB up, and a lot of damage going on already, but the Keeper of the Light is down. The Luna ultimate, the Death Prophet goes down so quickly, but this Chaos Knight is taking a lot of damage. Actually, the Bounty Hunter goes down next, and the Death Prophet is forced to buy back. Jakiro is down. Tinker is still pretty safe. He pops his BKB at the perfect time to avoid getting stunned by Luna, and the Bounty Hunter is taking a lot of damage again. The buyback again from him and the Chaos Knight, and now it's 3 heroes going on at full 5. So Chaos Knight is back in, and he's doing a lot of damage. He stuns the Undying for 3 seconds. Undying still has cheese. He needs to pop it. He needs to use that cheese. If he doesn't use that cheese, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Are they actually going to try to save that cheese? Throughout this entire fight, this Luna is going to die right here. They're not going to be able to do anything about it. Wow, I really don't know about that decision from R2R. I think they really should have tried to use that cheese there. This Death Prophet doesn't have buyback, and she's still holding a cheese, which she also... Well, she shouldn't use it, actually, but that is a very consequential fight. That was huge for R2R to lose that. I don't know about that. I really don't know. I guess they decided that we just don't want to go all in on this
thing that sets these teams apart from real pros is that they don't know when... Like, they keep going too far. Like, after they lost those 2 people, they kept trying to push.
So I actually, in my opinion, I think that they could have, but they needed to commit to it. They needed to expend the cheese on the Undying and expend the cheese on the Death Prophet. If Undying had had a full... Oh, this is going to be huge. The Chaos Knight and Wisp are in. The Keeper of the Light gets popped immediately, and this Undying's in a lot of trouble as well. He has to use his cheese. Why is he not using it? This Chaos Knight is just going to run completely rampant on them now. And actually, he might pick up a death here because Wisp isn't around to teleport him. Huge stun there, and actually the Chaos Knight's going to get picked off. He does have buyback. He doesn't have buyback. Chaos Knight is gone for 90 seconds. The fact that they didn't relocate him back might actually be quite fateful. So, really sloppy fights, these last 2, honestly. Both teams sort of, I think, overextending just that extent.
And it's still so close.
It's
like,
so close,
you're hearing it from me.
So yesterday, I want to note that yesterday was the ideal Miaris' wrong game because R2R were down 20,000 experience and 17,000 gold and they won. So I just want to say, fuck you. But also, this game, however, this one is genuinely close. We have 2 tier 3 towers down for R2R, so they're tier 3 bot and they're tier 3 top. We've got 1 tier 3 tower down for Dystopia. But this game could easily go either way. The one decision,
Oh yeah, totally.
Tinker's coming in. Oh no, that's Death Prophet. Sorry. They're both yellow, so I got confused. I'm sorry.
Wow, that is racist as hell.
Shut up! Shut up!
Jesus, did everyone else hear this?
Their hero icons are yellow. First of all, that is definite proof that you are, in fact, the racist because of your blame America first interpretation of my completely innocuous statement. Is this really just Luna and Death Prophet trying to push this down? This is now these teams are really
Vic
getting
says
sloppy.
they're both
I think
yellow. You can't tell them apart, and that's not racist. Okay.
Shut the fuck up. I don't know about this. They're actually bringing the rest of their team over, so they are going to transition this into an immediate push. But already 3/4 of this Death Prophet ultimate expended with essentially nothing to show for it. It hasn't done damage to any of Dystopia's heroes here. And Dystopia, again, they have that flash anti-push that is very, very effective. Death Prophet, Boots of Travel is back up, and I still don't know. I don't know why they don't. The Undying has given away his cheese, so it's on Death Prophet, and there's a cheese on Luna. But I think more than anything, they need the cheese on Undying, and they need him to just man up and use that cheese, man. Get that health back, get that mana back, because you're dying too fast in these fights. You have no tankiness. You just have pipe. I think the other thing he needs is, if anything, they should have put the Shivas on him rather than on Death Prophet. He needs armor. He needs to live against that Chaos Knight. Maybe Ghost Scepter actually is the solution there. Actually, yes. I'm going to go ahead and say that Ghost Scepter is the solution for this Undying. He's pretty close to it in terms of gold, and Ghost Scepter would be immensely useful for him. Roshan number 5 is coming up in a few seconds, and I think what we're probably going to see is they're going to try to... Oh, do you see what they're doing, actually? R2R are going to anti-push this lane as much as possible, just so Tinker can't push in while they're doing Roshan, so that's smart. Miaris, can you take the reins for a second? I desperately need to use the bathroom.
You trust me with this?
No, but I barely have a choice at this point, unfortunately. So I will be back in like 2 seconds.
So you see, Vic is a bit of a casual gamer.
I'm still
and
here.
Doesn't have a colostomy bag.
I'm still here.
Which
all right.
serious gamers do.
Oh, that is true, and it will, I think, forever set me apart from the serious gamers of the world. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. So just talk about something that isn't colostomy bags. Thanks.
Okay, 5 seconds. So clearly he's not washing his hands. That's pretty bad. Okay, so they lost Roshan because, well, Tinker's just busy farming. Not much is happening. Tinker farming. Ooh, Tinker went Frostwolf Skull. Interesting. Huh. So this is really a game that's going to drag for a really long time. I wonder what's going to happen. Yeah, Tinker's maxed. There's really nothing he could build here. Maybe he can be the ones to start buying wards, I guess. Welcome back, Vic. I hope in your rush you still managed to wash your hands.
I did wash my hands. Of course I washed my hands. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Jesus. What do you take me for?
So, Tinker...
I see the Tinker managed to escape
Tinker...
there.
And he bought a Frostwolf Skull.
Are you serious? No Han names on
Yes.
my stream. None. I actually don't even know what a Frostwolf Skull is. He bought Scotty.
Eye of Scotty.
What did he replace with it is my question. Force Staff? Soul Ring. So he's gotten rid of the Soul Ring. He's picked himself even more stats. So Tinker now 3,000 health, basically. Very, very beefy. And he's got this slowing effect. So if they catch R2R on the retreat again, that slow will actually be extremely effective because Tinker can just sort of jump on you with Blink Dagger, or he can Boots of Travel, Blink Dagger. Oh, and another relocate. This push is actually very threatening.
I can tell that these teams are American because Tinker ports from the fountain to like the front barracks instead of like walking, which is like the American equivalent of, I don't know, like taking the elevator for one step.
Keeper of the Light actually getting a good pick off on Cuddle there. Did you see what R2R were actually going for? They almost were able to Yule's the Wisp in such a way as to break the tether and force the Chaos Knight to stay, but they didn't quite get it because the Chaos Knight very, very, very smartly stopped moving, so he didn't break the tether.
Huh. Did you see what Wisp just built?
No. Heart? Oh my god, he finished a heart.
Yep.
This is actually super... And this is what happens when you have an 8-3-8 Wisp. This is an incredibly good record for a Wisp at this point in the game. Like, he is level 18, but compare him to the Rubik, who's 2 and 10. Heart is amazing on Wisp, because as long as the Wisp has any damage on it whatsoever, and that heart regen percolates to the target that it tethers. Heart is an incredible item on Wisp, and I think, yeah, this actually
Absolutely.
is very, very substantial, because he can tether anybody as long as he's taking some damage, which he will, because there's plenty of AoE damage going out from R2R. He can basically spot heal anybody just with the heart regeneration. That's very, very, very
He
significant.
doesn't even need to do that. He just needs to turn on overcharge.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think actually overcharge doesn't drain you enough per second to get the entirety of the heart regen, but you're actually right. That is huge.
Wow. So they are again talking about poorly against Chinese Dota, but I think this game has been plenty of entertaining. Like,
I think this game is fantastic.
60 kills in 69 minutes.
Yeah, actually,
I'll be
the
at
the W threshold is completely fine for this game. Wow, this Tinker! Look at how many resources they commit to killing off this Tinker, and but he of course has buyback trivially easily. But that's substantial. Killing off the Tinker, you know, if they kill him again, if they get another kill of that caliber, that's going to be huge. Like if they can pick off either the Tinker or the Chaos Knight without buyback, that's extremely substantial. But check out how well Dystopia are able to keep R2R back. Like, R2R has... How many cheeses are they holding at this point? 1, 2, 3... Let me look in the F5 screen to check out the number of cheeses. They have 3 cheese, BRS. 3 cheese and an Aegis. And yet, when they push, it's not working, right? Like, they're not actually able to successfully push through. So... And in my opinion, that's because they're like, well, 3 cheeses and an Aegis means that we have 5 lives on Luna, when that's not the right attitude. What you should be like is we have 2 lives on 4 heroes.
So, they have to rename their team. Like,
Tinker is jumping into a smoke egg.
Cheesecake Factory.
Check this out, check this out. This is actually really... If he doesn't blink immediately, this is going to be really tough. They get the first stun. They get the Luna up in here. He BKBs, so he will probably get it, because they don't have anything to break BKB. That's the disadvantage here. Will he get out? Oh, they have just enough damage that they don't have quite enough damage to actually take him out. This BKB is already down to 7 seconds.
Then he should have sat there like a lemon for a few seconds.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't port instantly after BKBing, because they don't have anything to break BKB. The only thing, if they built an Abyssal Blade, would be that would give them an anti-BKB tool. Miras, this game is at 70 minutes, and we are nowhere near one team winning. Like, we're not even in the neighborhood of one team winning.
Well,
so,
but I think Puppy said this once, that when the game gets so long...
it becomes random. It was Dendi who said that, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was Dendi? Okay.
Yeah, that essentially after a certain point, the
Russians.
outcome... Wow, all Russians look the same to you?
I didn't say that, but good job filling in the blanks. After
All
the
Russians
Chinese...
sound the same to you? Wow. Wow. I'm just gonna replace myself with any other Russian caster. We'll see how you get on. He'll put you with like Velat. You'll just get really angry about Russians. You'll just start talking about the fucking like Holodomor or something. It'll just be a disaster. So
what Holodomor? Never happened.
Right. I'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god. Yeah, like we are nowhere near a resolution to this game. And are you looking at this net worth graph? Are you looking at how close these fucking numbers are? Like, the gold is still 3,000, but let's note, it's 3,000 in Dystopia's favor now, whereas 20 minutes ago it was 3,000 in R2R's favor. And the experience is exactly the same. I think because
how close everyone is. Like, 1 and 1, 2 and 2. Yeah.
Oh my god, look at the levels. The levels are, like, identical. The Bounty Hunter has a 1 level advantage over the Undying, but the Death Prophet has a 1 level advantage over the Chaos Knight. So the XP equity is literally at 0, and soon we're going to start seeing heroes converge to 25. So the XP graph actually gets incredibly wonky after 25, because your team can be way ahead, but as soon as your primary farmer hits 25, it starts looking like you're losing. I think it's our co-broadcasters. I can see them. I can see the penises. But wow, this is just a remarkable game, and really it could go either way. There's a big advantage that's not accounted for by these graphs, which is the number of cheeses that are being held by... They don't have the Aegis anymore. The Aegis actually expired.
Because
they
cheeses
don't.
are like 1,000 gold each.
They're 500 actually, I think. They might count for 500. But I don't know. It looks like R2R want to finish this, so they want to go for the kill up in the top lane here, and I just don't know. I mean, it's not going to change materially in the next 10 minutes, so guess what? Pipe is popped, but the Luna starts out being sheeped, and that's a very substantial advantage right there. Because keep in mind, Luna doesn't have an Aegis. If they perma-stun her, wow, Jakiro getting taken down just immediately. But Chaos Knight is copying a lot of damage, and this Undying is finally staying alive for long enough to actually make a difference. The Bounty Hunter is going to get taken down, and the Luna is actually still alive. She hasn't even used cheese yet. She hasn't even popped her Satanic, and that's going to be a lot of damage. This Tinker is in a lot of trouble here. Does he have buyback? I don't think he does. Oh my god, they won't be able to catch Tinker. He has buyback in 46 seconds. They're forced to turn around. They're actually not going to be able to get the Tinker. The Luna is still alive. I think she has popped cheese at this point. She has popped cheese, so she no longer has one. And they have to focus on the racks here at this point. They can't just keep chasing these guys. The Death Prophet is running around randomly, but they need to take down these racks. That's what's going to get them the advantage. Death Prophet's down for 2 seconds. Does she have a cheese? She actually still is holding hers. She pops the Shivas up on the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight in a lot of trouble now. The Keeper of the Light Illuminate going on. Death Prophet actually does use her cheese. The Luna actually has a second cheese. Somebody handed it to her in the middle of the fight. Keeper of the Light Mana Leak actually stuns Chaos Knight. He's trying to get away. He's substantially slowed. Luna uses her second cheese. And now a lot of damage going on Tinker again, but he manages to pop Shivas off again. So, at the cost of every single cheese, they managed to take down the tier 3 top racks and the tier 3 tower. It looks like they're going to keep pushing. Tinker's putting into a lot of trouble here. He is able to sheep Luna once or twice. I think he will actually get 2 sheeps on her. She actually didn't use her BKB, or it came up, so she BKBs and Mantas. And now a lot of damage going on this Chaos Knight, who is also BKB'd and beating on this Death Prophet. The Tombstone is up again. The cooldown has come up. The first Shiva's come out. Bounty Hunter is BKB'd. He's in there against the Luna. Chaos Knight is forced to retreat again, and Bounty Hunter is peeled off. This might be the second set of racks. I think those 3 cheeses were finally enough to break through the defense of Dystopia. They're going to go for Megas. So this is bold. Now they don't have Tombstone. They will have Death Prophet Ultimate. They don't have BKB, and they will have Tombstone in 20 seconds, but they do have the Undying Ultimate. Tinker jumps in. He's Mana Leaked. Mana Leak on Tinker is actually going to be very, very big. The Bounty Hunter tries to jump in again. Death Prophet finally goes down. She will buy back. She will Boots of Travel. Luna's actually at about half health as well, but this Rubik's stun just isn't quite enough for this Luna. And Rubik's hasn't been able to spell steal the items he needs. He just has Lucent Blessing. 4 seconds stun on Luna. That will take her down. The Keeper of the Light will die as well. They're not able to get Megas. They lose 2. Luna does have buyback.
Buybacks though. So.
And Undying dies. Does he have buyback? Undying has buyback as well. So Keeper of the Light buys back. Luna buys back. Undying will probably buy back as well. He does. How many buybacks were in that fight, Miaras? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 buybacks. 6 buybacks. But one thing I want to point out, Tinker did not have buyback when that fight started. His survivability in that fight was incredible. Did you see when he got away with like 100 HP and no, and that's critical because now he has buyback. He is the only person on this map that has buyback, and Tinker being the only person with buyback is incredibly significant because if everyone wipes, Tinker will just win the game, quite possibly. When that fight began,
they are in a huge disadvantage. So
yes, they do have 2 X's down. They're gonna go all in.
Something.
He bought Rapier. Tinker bought Rapier. They're going all in, and I think this is actually incredibly smart because if they're able to sort of jointly wipe, that Rapier will give him the damage he needs to throne the other team. So they're going all in right on this push, and I think it's brilliant. There are no cheeses left on R2R. They used every single cheese in that fight. And so, actually, the Undying starts the fight off by being sheeped, and Keeper of the Light is copping a lot of damage as well. Chaos Knight has generated Chaos. The Eclipse is coming out from Luna. Actually, a lot of damage going on in Dystopia. They're going to lose at least 1 unit. They're actually going to lose probably the Chaos Knight as well in exchange for just the Undying, so this is actually really trouble. Tinker's dying. Tinker is dying. He's going to lose that Rapier. The Rapier's on the ground. Do they even know there's a Rapier here? Guys, there's a Rapier here. Guys, there's a Rapier here. There's a Rapier here, dudes.
Look what Luna made. Luna made an Abyssal Blade.
I told you they'd make that Abyssal Blade. I fucking told you they were going to use it to break through the BKB of the Tinker. That's a brilliant butt. That's a brilliant item to make. Do they not know there's a Rapier? They still don't know there's a Rapier. They're finally pigging it. The Undying just noticed that there's a Rapier. They're going to put on Jakiro. They're going to do Rapier Jakiro, I think. Bounty Hunter's out of mana. I think this is game, actually. This Luna is going to take this game because Chaos Knight and Tinker has to buy back, surely. Surely Tinker has to buy back. They're calling out the GG instead.
That was the first game.
That was the first game, Yaris, of the day. There are going to be a lot more like that.
That was like a first game that lasted forever, had lots of kills.
They didn't want it. They said they didn't want to play this anymore. They could have tried to buy back the Tinker, but they decided not to. So I think the Tinker buyback could have extended it for a good long time. But the issue was the Rapier. The fact that the Rapier was on the ground and probably going to get passed to R2R was likely going to be the deciding factor. What a game. Alright, Miaris, that's game 1. Let's take a really brief break and we'll move on to game 2 after that. Wow, this losers bracket final. This is serious shit, man. Serious shit.